a lot of kids, assembled there, and they were seeing the rail car, and then they were saying, "Look, this is our train. This is our train." Kind of. The kids are like they were very happy.
Just being kids. Yeah.
And it was so nice to see that for so many years, something which is just a cargo or a transaction for me, for the kids, they were showing the ownership of that. So the perspective gets changed, Then suddenly you realize that your work is impacting to the people and their daily life so much so that it just cannot become a cargo for you.
Welcome to Project Cargo Professionals. This week we set our sights on Kolkata, India, home to today's guest Nilesh Sinha, Director at Procam Group, a 15-year-old asset-based project cargo company and proud member of the Heavy Lift Group. Nilesh tells me why succeeding in India takes the patience of a philosopher and the insight of a psychologist. But when it clicks, the results are felt far beyond the supply chain. They touch the lives of everyday citizens. Today we are with Nilesh Sinha, founder and director of Procam Logistics. Did I get the name right?
Absolutely correct.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Living and working in India, a very easy country to do project cargo. Everything runs smoothly, not many problems. Is that right?
If you ask me, yes, there is no problem. But then, yeah, that depends upon, the kind of project we do. Because for us, every shipments, every job is a new challenge. But this, as a market, India is evolving and challenging as usual. And I'm happy to work into such market, which is giving you a challenge every day.
And tell us a bit about yourself. Introduce who you are.
As you said, my name is Nilesh Sinha, and I come from, Steel City, which is Jamshedpur. It is in, the eastern part of the country. The base of Tata Group, Tata Steel plant is there. My father used to work for Tata Steel, and he retired from there. So after these studies, I did my graduation in statistics. So I have master's in statistics. I'm a number guy. I like the patterns. I like the movement in the patterns. Then I did the master's in business administration. And then the study keep going on, during my work also. And in 2009, I did the PQE from the Institute of Chartered Shipbroker. And then last year, I became the fellow member. So academy goes this way. But then professionally, my career started in 1998, where I joined a project forwarding company. And generally, it so happened that when you progress into the logistics industry, you start with handling these small cargoes, the small pieces, the truck cargoes and all that. But fortunately, something which is destined to you, looking back when I see this, I started with a 200-ton package, and then the size and the weight of the cargo keep increasing it till the 800-ton. So probably I the early started in the business, and that advantage had come to me because after starting my career, after 12 years, I could able to, found the company in this segment, which has got a very high entry barrier. So in between, I work with various logistics company where I got exposure of the road transportation, the shipping, the chartering, the global project handling, but overall the project management. And I also had got an opportunity to work on the client side, with our client side, which is an OEM side. I used to work for Hyundai Rotem, it's a Korean company who are manufacturing the metro cars. I've been a part of the, the rolling stock community also, where a lot of, railway works are happening in. And in 2010, we finally started Procam Logistics.
And what was the idea of Procam? It's an asset-based company, right?
Yes. This is an asset-based company. We have got 152 hydraulic axles, 21 heavy pullers, and we have a big investment into the wind energy and wind blades, equipments. And then we have got a specialized lift systems, which is a 400-ton capacity, 2 units of that. And then we have also invested heavily on the various rigging and specialized equipment. So what we do as a solution provider in the project cargo, while we provide the basic core transportation services within India, because considering the geography of India is quite vast, it has its own challenges within the country itself. What you see the problem in Europe, moving various countries as such, we similarly face by moving in the various state in the country. And but then with the time, the integration have started happening in. But as a program, we try to provide the services for the domestic part, then the international part also through our global forwarding and the chartering desk, the warehousing part for the project cargo, and then the installation. So it's like a factory to foundation activities is happening there.
And you are based in Kolkata, and you have a very good partner, TG Ramalingam, in Mumbai.
Yes, Mr. Ramalingam is my mentor since I started my career, and
Very nice guy.
yeah, and it's been I've been fortunate that I have got an elder and senior like him, and many such people who have been a part of the journey. But he has been constant for last 25, 28 years. I know him, and it's more of working together. It's like a family and a good guide to me.
And it was interesting. I read, you said you're still learning from your senior colleagues. Who else besides Ramalingam? Who are the other key figures that have helped you get where you are?
We always say that we have people who are having even a 50 year of experience into the project cargo. One of our senior colleague, Mr. R.P. Shah, he started, into this industry in 1967, and he's still working and he's still with us, and he is being guiding us here. But apart from him, there are many senior people in the industry. I would not like to pinpoint a one name because then the whole podcast will become the name of so many people. But yeah, I would like to thank all my seniors and my junior colleagues also who has been a part of the journey.
Obviously, India is not always an easy country to do business in. What were the major challenges that you had when you were starting out?
See, I was into this business, so for me, I was not someone who was not knowing the business and then getting into it. The positive side of it is that we have been facing those issues and challenges when we're working. This has actually made us to understand that how the risk and the challenges needs to be mitigated. So primarily the challenges those days when we started was the regulatory challenge, which is still there, but then we'll talk about this later, the kind of effort we have done to streamlining those regulatory issues. As I said, we have to cross various states, and there was a delay, the idling of equipment, the price pressure which is coming up right now, and it was always there. Today people complains that there's too much of a price pressure. It was always there, and on those days also people try to find out the very various value addition methods to get the proper solutions as such. So ultimately, this business is not a business which just happened just like that. Here, speed is not at all matters. What matters is how patient you are, your commitment towards work, how you are able to mitigate and forecast the risk, and how best way you can read your contracts, because these are the bigger challenges. So some challenges are the understanding of the business, for which we were already trained, and some was something which was not in the controllable factor. So something which was not controllable, I never consider that as a challenge because this is common for all. But then that was a risk, and those risk mechanism we are trained to handle, and we are still working to devise the methods to manage those risks.
I totally agree about needing to be patient in India. I've been many times, and it doesn't matter what you're trying to do, things do go wrong. You're late for a meeting, or the other person doesn't turn up, or the driver doesn't arrive, and there's no point getting annoyed about it. You just have to relax, and you do need patience.
I think more than the patience, what is more important is that how well you understand the perspective of other side of the people, and from where they're coming in. Earlier, as like when you work with global companies, they are very, very order driven company, and there is a very clear SOP. Roles are very much defined, and people work into their roles. They know what they are not supposed to do, and that's where you are able to create that order. Now I don't see this as a negative part when I see the project management part in India, because we have been able to do such a large project not in the logistics, but even in various infrastructure projects which is happening. The way we are working in, the way we have been brought up, somewhere it is designed that we are able to, manage ourselves in the chaos. I'll give you the anecdote here. There was a recently a very big accumulation of people happened in the Uttar Pradesh, which is near Calcutta. This is called Prayagraj, and more than some 45 million people came for a dip in a holy Ganga river in a 1 month, 1.5 months time.
45 million people.
45 million people. And I was also one of them with my wife. And the experience is so awesome in a way. And it's so spiritual in a way that you see how things are moving in there. Managing such people every day, flowing it without having, even a small incident is you can always ignore it. But then
Somehow it works.
And it worked so nicely. The population of America and Britain dip in a one place in 45 days. And there is a space was created for that. So this I call it as a managing people and managing the management of the large projects as such. Yeah.
I suppose it's good training for working project cargo, right? You're used to things going wrong, used to having to find a plan B.
See, plan B, we don't say it plan B, but then what we say this is that you should always forecast the potential risk, and you should always have an alternative. We are sitting onto the delivering of a very, very prestigious or a very high value equipment. And more than our stake, the stake of the buyer is very high. So, we are not onto the, different side of the table. But unfortunately, things are not perceived in a many such cases. But those, if you list out the successful projects, you will see that the partnership method has always worked well. But yes, you have to be vigilant. You have to be careful. You have to forecast things. And you have to know the ground realities. Like in our kind of a businesses, it's not just the highways where you're moving in. You moves on the last mile areas, small villages. There people are seeing sometimes your packages for the first time. In the excitement, they do something which can harm to them. You
There's
have
human
to be,
factors, there's festivals, there's a lot of things that you need to...
Mumbai, it's just like we have a Ganesha festival there. And these things needs to be counted when you are making your, whole plan as such.
Can disrupt everything.
Yeah. And then, sometimes hope is not a plan. It's like, oh, everything will be fine. It's not like that. So you have to forecast this is that on this month, it's not just the rain. There could be some festival or some political rally is going to happen or some election is happening. Now, these are something not quite common into the western part of the world. But in our side, these matters a lot. And then you have to be very sensitive about it.
And Procam has become well known for moving metro trains in various cities in India. Could you tell us a bit about the complexities of those projects and why you've taken such an interest in that business?
Now, this is very interesting. Metro car or metro projects was just or a metro rail car is just a cargo for us or for me when it started. In 2000, or rather early 2000, 1999, the Delhi Metro project started. And that was the time when the imported metro cars were coming in. Before that, we had metro cars in Calcutta. But then this was very high technology metro cars. So for me, initially, it was just a cargo. And when the first rail car came, I was a part of the project. And I was onto the client side, which is I was working in Hyundai Rotem those days. And I was managing the logistics and coordinating with the logistics service providers and all. And when the train comes to the Delhi and it has to go from the Indian Railway track to the Delhi Metro depot, there. A lot of kids, assembled there and they were seeing the rail car and then they were saying, look, this is our train, kind of. The kids are like they were very, very happy.
Just being kids.
Yeah. And then it was so nice to see that for so many years, something which is just a cargo or a transaction for me, for the kids, they were showing the ownership of that. So the perspective gets changed, Then suddenly you realize that your work is impacting to the people and their daily life so much so that it just cannot become a cargo for you. And then, I thought, like, let's invest more time in this. Let's go more deeper into this. And then I'm so glad that almost I've been part of the metro industry since it started in India, to say so, on the rolling stock side, and have done most of the components apart from the rolling stock. And in Procam this year, we have delivered 2,500 metro cars. And at least I have been a part of more than 5,000 metro cars out of 7,500 metro cars in the country. I'm very happy that we are able to touch the life of every individuals in the country.
Where do most of these metro cars come from?
Initially, it was imported. It was imported from Korea, as I said. Then Spain also. Our airport metro come from the Spain. Then, of course, Germany. It was coming in from there also. But then the government of India has a plan to localize it. And then most of the companies like Bombardier or Alstom, they have set up their plant in India. And then there's an Indian homegrown company also, BEML and Titagan Wagon. They set up their plant, and now they are doing the export from India. So in 25 years, from the only import dependent, the country is now exporting.
So now you get to handle the exports as well.
We do that.
And where are they going?
They're going to Australia. They are going to various European country. They are going to South America also. So now the market is big for them.
And aside from that, what are the other sectors that you're heavily involved in? Plant relocation was big for a while, wasn't it? Is that still happening?
It's still happening. And this is also one of the sector where we are very, very active. When this China One policy started, where the global companies have started looking it out, the one more alternative as such, the India has got that competitive advantage. It's not that the all benefit has come to India as such, but then as a logistics company, we have got a new opportunity. And we are able to do it, a lot of such projects in last couple of years.
And I read that you have some proprietary software. What's been
that's something.
What's been the benefit of that?
That's something very interesting, and also a part of something which I personally involved into it. We develop our own in-house software. We call it ProConnect. And initially, the company who has developed it, after a time, they wanted to exit, and then we bought them over. And the whole team also worked with us. So there is a software team which is working in. And now that has also developed to a way that we are not selling those softwares, but then we are utilizing the pieces of the solutions which we design to use it as the value additions to our customer. So we are now upgrading it. So there are many such value-added software we have designed to the customers, and it is working well, especially onto the WMS side, where a lot of global companies are using the warehousing software of ours.
And in terms of infrastructure, that's obviously a sector that's booming. Are there any big projects that Procam is particularly excited about or is involved in?
Of course, how we work is that we have a very specific guideline and the model where we work out. Project business is not a business where you will have always, a cash flow, consistent cash flow. Sometimes you have, large projects, and then there a period will come where you have a no project as such. So this is the challenge which needed to be mitigated. So we devise our portfolio into 4 major categories, which keep balances out us, in the ups and down of it. But as the large projects are concerned, we are doing a lot of works onto the railways. So that something still becomes the core of it. But then we are doing a lot of work on the energy side also. And when I say energy, it's a transformers. It's a lot of work onto the wind energy. A lot of work on the solar side also. We have been a part of the installations of more than some 6 gigawatt, solar PV module plant in India, and that something is a really very, very upcoming one. But then these are the ones where we feel that the market is going up. There are a lot of new investments are coming in a various new emerging market also, and that's something we are very bullish about it.
And I read you said India is a highly cost-centric market driven by unorganized players. And in the last 7 years, there were 65,000 heavy lifts moved by more than 200 players. So you have a lot of competition.
From the point of view of India, I don't think it's too much of competition, but yeah, it's a more of a what kind of a service provider we have, and India is catching up in a way that in terms of providing the quality services. The data which you are referring is one of the data which is being generated by the government of India, and especially the heavy lift business is very very organized as such, and of course competition is there, the price pressure is also there. As far unorganized is concerned, because of a certain regulation which has got changed over the years, people are coming in aligned and trying to work it out. And if at all, out of all the segments in transportation or the various weight category, something which is going to get organized fast is the heavy lift only, because we have a less player compared to others. So yeah, but then heavy lift also has got a high entry barrier, and then someone needs to be very much alert in terms of managing the risk, because you have to invest a lot. B, you have to ensure that it is running in, and see that for long run you cannot do the business for the sake of doing business. So the whosoever is entering into the business has to be have a proper careful planning on that.
But if you've got more than 200 competitors, and probably much more than that, how do you stand out? How do you compete?
See, when we have a 200, when we say 201, you will see that there are some 10, 15 companies are there who are having some 60 to 70% of the excels. Those 20 players are the one who are leading the foray. So initially there was, like if you see, before 2000, there was only some 20, 25 players. And, they were managing these shows there. On those days, the number of equipment were also not so much. But then, as infrastructure started growing in, there was a space available for the people, and the existing player could not serve that. Now, when the next generation people who have entered into this market, they were the one who are already into the transport business, and they wanted to expand into the hydraulic market as such. So there is a cargo. They are managing their shows, and like any other business, I won't say that it does not have a competition. There is definitely a price pressure, but at the same time, the quality and safety has to be a topmost priority because of the kind of a cost of the cargo people are carrying on.
And I saw that Renus Logistics recently signed an MOU with the Inland Waterways Authority of India to operate 100 cargo vessels. Do you see inland waterways becoming a significant mode in future for project cargo and breakbulk?
It has to be. This is the area where India as a country is lagging, but it's no more now, because in last couple of years, it has been a lot of cargoes has been moved for the various projects, especially onto the east coast side. The announcement which you are referring is very very ambitious, and we wish that it should work, because the advantage of the waterways is that you are taking off the load from the road first. Second, the carbon emission. This is the lowest which you when you move on the waterway as such, and that also saves lot of fuel expenditure of the country. So theoretical side, it is very very good decision. Someone like company like Greenus can take that kind of challenge, and they have an experience, so I'm sure that they'll be able to manage this out. But as a citizen of India, I feel that something like this should happen and must happen, because this will help to create a lot of infrastructure on the eastern side of the country also, across the riverside. Like in Europe, if you see, most of the heavy equipments manufacturing plants are on the shore, on the bank of the waterway. So that saves
It's very smart.
yeah, and then that's something is saving, and it is getting connected to the sea. So you don't disturb when you move on the roads, and more than the road, you have got the bridge infrastructure. So if this works out, I think this is something is going to be very good for the country.
Is it not happening at the moment?
I just read the news, and then I see that it is happening very, very fast. In fact, this coming year, they have a plan to put a lot of barges. So I don't
But before
have.
now, it hasn't happened. It's not widely used.
It is not widely used, but then for last 4 or 5 years, there is a lot of attention is there. So it's not that it is not working. We have moved.
Is that because nobody's got the barges, or hasn't it happened before now?
No, barges are there. There are local players who are doing this work for last 20 years, 25 years into that sectors. But then putting up the technology, having and maintaining the proper draft, and ensuring it that you have a sufficient cargo also. Those things also matters. Now, as the economy is growing, and as we said it, for the next 7 years, 10 years, when the country has planned in their national infrastructure plan to invest more than a 1.3 or 1.4 trillion dollars, it makes all the good sense to see this as that how these will be delivered fast also, and where you are going to create those clusters where such manufacturing things can happen. So on the bank of the river, I think if this works out, and the scale also, see, moving up 10 barges or 20 barges in a month does not make that commercial viable as such. But then creating the presence, availability of the barges, managing by someone who have got the global experiences as such, is like, as we were talking about it 20 years back, if you ask that India can make it up metro cars in the country, people will laugh on you. But then they are now exporting it from the India. So this is that moment. It's like this is a moment, and I'm very glad that a global competent company has taken that initiative. So not as a logistics professional or someone, of course, as a logistics, I'm feeling very happy about it, but as a citizen also. So thank you for that. I mean, if they're listening.
Is this an area that Procam might want to invest in the future? Could you see yourself operating barges in India, or?
So far, we don't have that plan to get into the barging as such, but I could be the user of that. So yeah, I'll be contributing them for giving some business.
And you're also General Secretary of the Hydraulic Trailer Owners Association. Tell us what that is and your involvement.
Hydraulic Trailer Owner Association is, as the name suggests, is the associations of the hydraulic trailer owners, and it's a very good initiative started by some key players.
Armin was involved in that, right?
Yes, he was involved in that, and they are the pioneers into the industry, and they are the one who have seen when the India was growing as such. So it's a very respectable name to say so. And when it started, we had a lot of challenges to this extent that till 2015, in our motor vehicle rules, the classification was also not there about the hydraulic trailer. So for every movement, there was a lot of regulatory challenges used to happen. So the one key role what HTOA has achieved so far is that we managed to get this online permission. And then that's something I was talking to our colleagues in Europe also, where if you have to move any heavy lift cargo as such, it takes 3 to 4 weeks for the permissions as such.
In Europe?
In Europe. Even in US also, the permission process are a bit complicated. But then it's not that in India it happens just like that. There is a proper load classification study was done, and there is a lot of hard work done by a lot of professionals who worked in line with the HTOA. And in 2015, the government of India has come up with the online permission. So we classified the loads, various loads under 13 category. We call it HT1 to HT13. Out of HT13, HT1, HT2, HT3, which means 4XLs, 6XLs, and 8XLs. For this, you can get an online permissions quickly, within, let's say, 5 minutes. It is organized in such a way, and the systems is helping it out, the routes also, where it is going and all that. And there is a continuous improvement is happening onto this. So apart from this, HTO has helped to organize the sector, try to create a right kind of systems and processes in terms of safety patterns which people have to do, as there are a lot of new players are also coming in. Our role primarily into this is to see that we should able to create an organization which is friendly, which can help the operators, we can help the members, and we can also take it up to the next level in terms of getting the best practices all over the world. So we are interacting it with the government regulators, we are interacting with the state authorities, we are interacting it with our members, the educational institutions. A lot of training programs are being done. We are now into the process of collaborating with the global associations, because we feel that India is the market where the global associations and the global players can take the leverage, and then if at all any best practices needed to be get aligned, like this is an opportunity that HTOA can be the gateway for them to come and explore the market onto the heavy lift side.
And you mentioned the states. How much authority do the states have when you're moving project cargo? Can they make their own decisions, or are most of the rules national?
India is a federal country, where it have a central government and the state government. So when we say online permissions as such, we means the national highways only. So if at all in between a state roads comes up, the state rule comes in between. But then with the time as it progress, every state had its own challenges and their own way of interpreting things. But HTO is trying to streamline that also, and we are working to see this as that we have got the integrated approach.
And I wanted to ask you about staff shortages, which is a problem we hear a lot about in this part of the world, in Europe, but I guess you don't have that problem in India.
Now, this is very interesting. Yesterday, also, I was having a conversation on this. And while we are a country of 1.4 billion people, it is very important that how much are employable, how much are trained to handle this kind of a work, and how much are considering this profession as a profession where they can grow. So we have a lot of works to do as someone who are into the business for so many years. While government is doing their work, I think one part what the association is also doing is that they're creating awareness about this. But then we definitely have a shortages of drivers, a trained crew, and there is a no very structured training process as such at our school or the college curriculum. So people, when they enter into the business, they come with the general understanding of what it happens. But then when we get into the inside of it, your general understanding of a business does not help. So you have to be very, very specific of what you do and all that. What you study in your engineering about the load distribution and the calculations, here this is an applied work. So I think some work has to be done by the various associations like HTO, which we are anyway doing by conducting a lot of programs. So two part is there. One is the bringing the new talent into the industry, and then upgrading the talent who are already there into the industry, because the sizes of the cargoes are increasing. So far the challenges are also increasing.
And in India, for young people, is it an attractive career, logistics? Or is it still under the radar like it is in over here?
Now with the logistics definitions is very like today someone is delivering the food also is the food delivery company. So like it's very difficult to explain these days, and these words are so loosely coined. But to answer your question, I personally feel that this is not perceived as a first choice kind of, unless someone from their family have seen and worked into this. So there is a lot of awareness is to be done, and I'm not blaming anyone. We are responsible for this, and we need to do this. And thank you for a conversation like this, as at least people should know that it has its own opportunity, and this is the business will never ends till the time someone is manufacturing and someone is buying. So it's we are a part of the delivery side. The volume of business go up and down, but then this is going to exist.
And Procam's obviously had success till now. What are your ambitions for the next few years? What are your plans for expansion or diversification? Will you look overseas, or have you got more than enough in India?
No, of course, we are scaling up. But as I said, in the project business, it has got its own entry barrier. Knowing business or having an experience, being there for long helps you in terms of creating your credibility. But then when you try to scale up, you need to have that appetite. But in overall, yes, we are forward looking. We are seeing the growth, the way the country is growing up, and there is a huge opportunity. As for going global is concerned, a very interesting thing is happening in India, and that's something probably happened in Europe some 40, 50 years back, when the European company was going out from Europe to the other countries. They were taking their logistics company with them. Like the German company is setting up a certain plant in, let's say, India or some part in China or some in Australia. the Shankar and the Panalpina is also going out there in those countries and opening their shops. At least I have four such experiences in the recent past where some Indian companies who are, expanding globally, and they are taking us with them. This is something is a new trend. I am seeing it. So many a times a company with whom we are working for, let's say some 10 years or 15 years, and then they know that you know their business. They have that kind of trust with you. And then when they are expanding it, they are saying that, okay, why don't you come and do my this job as well? Yeah. So this is something is the good trend,
So
and
you
this
can
is
expand with your
so
client.
that's what we are doing. So that keeps our risk also properly mitigated.
I can see you're still a young man, but I'm interested to know what plans you might have for the future. Who's going to run your company? Because I've heard so many Indian companies, owners in India say, my kids have got no interest taking over this business. They would rather go to California and work for Google. What's your plan?
So when you say so many people, add one more, me in that list. Because you are absolutely right, Luke. Because aspirations are changing. I'm not saying that the kids are not smart. Kids are not understanding how it works, but they have so much of exposure, and they know it is that what is right and what is wrong for them. So what we can do as a parent for them is that then can arrange and give them the good education, which as a parent we are doing. Now, if they are not joining our business or they are not becoming a part of our business, it is only because is that they have a much better option than this. So, no complaint to the kids. But then again, I'll take it on us that we need to work hard to make them aware and make the business more lucrative. And I don't know, for some reason I have seen, even if the kids likes to come back into this business, they choose IT segment as the segment where they like to work. So a lot of our friends, their kids comes back into the business and doing the more hardcore work of the business, they prefer to choose onto the IT, and they feel that by utilizing the computer and monitoring the work and doing all the scheduling and other things, they can do the business. This business is still a business, happens on the ground. It happens on the road. It happens on the port. you know we have not made them as tough, or we have not inspired them or not been able to create that interest.
And your career highlight?
High in terms of this is a very interesting question also. I'll not talk about what project or any project where we have done excellently well and all that. In our business this keeps happening in. But the career high in terms of, if I put it this way, that we have an habit or rather process of hiring a lot of interns in our company. So young boys have a no idea, or young boys and girls both have a no idea about what this business is all about. They are talented. They have an experiences of the management side or other businesses activity side. And whenever we are having such solutions discussions, we generally ask them to sit into the discussion to just listen that what is happening here. So we are not expecting anything from them that you are going to help us and all that.
Just to get some exposure.
Just to see that how we are trying to find these solutions. One of the girl has given us some suggestions, and that was something that we have not even thought of. In terms of, we were finding it as some issues in terms of vibrations, mismatch, and things were not happening in like the way we were planning it. We had to move a cargo, and then we have to see this is the throughout the motion. The vibration check should be within the limit. The humidity would be into the limit, and this was an IoT problem. And she came up with a solution which we never thought of. And I was so happy with this is that although I was not expecting anything, but then a decision of calling them, sitting into the meeting, listening this is the career high for me, because we have created at least an interest within those team, that they are open enough. They are not bothered about the hierarchy, that what position they are coming in. I see it more as a people side, and we have spent a lot of time to the team, building up the team in a way that they do well. And they do well in their career also, post Procam also. So we are absolutely fine with that. But then the career high goes up when someone comes up and tell that, look, your team is doing well. They have been able to solve this problem, or they have been able to give us something which is something added value to our company. So these are the highs. So
And the lows?
lows is no, lows are I've never seen that as a low, because
There must be some days
in
when you
a
go home and you think, oh,
no, I mean, of course, there is in our kind of a business, when you work hard and you get paid properly, you always feel low. But that's not the point I'm talking here. The lows generally comes up when someone does not respect your work. It's like you work hard, you do work as per the requirements, and for some reasons, things have not been communicated that way. But more than the low, I take that as a feedback, and we follow the principle of karmas. So where we feel that let's do our work, and let's do this well with whatever capacity, knowledge we know, and we can do that. We do this, and let the high come and let the low comes. Let be the neutral in between.
and your best advice for somebody starting a career in project cargo today?
See, the advice, I think I'm not that qualified to give an advice to anyone, but then I can only see that is that why I enter into the business, and if that works as an advice, then it's fine, because that something is of course dependent on people to people. But then imagine a situation, maybe at 3 a.m. in the morning, and you are in the middle of a village. Some 200 people are just watching you. You are into a deep trouble for something which has not gone well, and you are there and trying to sort this off. Now, if this situations gives you a high and a kick, if this situations does not scare you, and if this situations gives you the energy and the fun, you are the right guy for this business, because your job is not here to please people. Your job is here to ensure that you deliver the cargo properly without damaging to the people, the machine, and the cargo. So if these threes are able to do this, and for this, the basic characteristics you need is the patience, as we discussed in the morning. Patience and perseverance and the consistency, because it so happened that after you do some 2 3 year project, then you start getting complacent that I know everything, and then you stop learning in a way that you stop exploring, and that the time it happens that you tends to make certain mistakes. So this is the business. It's a everyday learning business. You have to observe people very carefully. You have to see that how people are interacting and reacting to the situation. So you have to be a good psychologist. You have to be a good philosopher. You have to be I don't know, I'm sounding here something very, very different than a logistics person as such. But these traits helps.
And lastly, your nomination for somebody else in the industry to be on a future episode.
I have a list of people. I have a list of people from India, and I have a list of people globally also. So definitely I'll share the name to you. And I wish that you call it or you discuss with them, because they are the people who have worked hard in the industry. And I'm glad for this conversation, because this is the medium where the young generation are listening or using. In our days, the radio is the medium, or the television is the medium. But I see my kids, they are more Instagram kids. Whatever we are communicating through emails also, they want a 1 line or 2 line statement. So I assume now the consumption of content is happening in a this mode, and it is very important that those who have spent 40 years, 50 years, 30 years into the industry, at least they should talk, and they should talk for the record's sake also, so that at least it should be documented.
So who are they? Who are the names? You can give us one name from India and one name from the rest of the world.
I'll definitely come back to you because you are putting me in a very difficult spot for this.
Nilesh, thanks very much.
Absolutely, and pleasure talking to you, Luke. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Project Cargo Professionals. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Got feedback, a guest suggestion, or a story worth telling? Don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, let's keep in touch. Follow me, Luke King, on LinkedIn and explore more at projectcargopros.com.